This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we.
And yes, things change very, very quickly in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks, we already know, destroyed, demolished the Atlanta Hawks, 140-89. I almost said 96-89 last night. And man, Hawks fans are, despondent. They don't know what to do. They want a coaching change. They want a clean house. All of that. You know what I'm saying? Tony, what's good with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? I'm doing good. Still feeling good after that win.
Yeah, still feeling very, very good. I walked into work with my Brunson stuff on there, like, they do one such and such, and of course, what did you expect? Man, come on, what you think? What did you think I was gonna do? Obviously, I was gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
After game 3, I was like, I ain't cutting my hair until the series is over. So I got my hair cut this morning. You know what I mean? I'm feeling fresh, feeling clean. You know what I mean? Ready for the next round.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're gonna obviously get to talking Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Since this is, we're gonna get to talking Knicks, but we're gonna focus in on the Hawks and how they're probably feeling, how they should be feeling after getting demolished by the Knicks. I mean, that was the type of thing that would end somebody's career as a coach. If it was a player that was close to ending their career, might say, you know what, I'm not ever going through that again. I'm done. Look, the Hawks just didn't show. They didn't have the fight. You see, Detroit tonight was down 24, and they had the fight to say, no, if we lose this, we're going home. We got to fight. And they came back and won. Atlanta, when I guess in the back of their mind, they just didn't have the confidence. They knew that this series was over. And once the Knicks took a big lead, they didn't have any fight to come back. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have any fight whatsoever. Tony, if you were in that type of beat down, you were the one getting beat down like that in a game, how do you think you would feel?
Depends on who I am and where I am in my career. If I was a younger guy and a back of the rotation guy, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it as, hey, put me in and let me, you know what I mean? Let me get some playoff experience. It's not real playoff experience, but you know what I mean? Let me get my feet wet. Let me see if I could cut the lead to 40 to 45 to, you know what I mean? Or from 60 to 51. You know what I mean? Like let me see if I could make some type of an impact, personal impact. You know what I mean? Like for myself, not necessarily to change the game, but
yeah.
But as a like a CJ, that's gotta. Now I'm questioning: do I want to be here? Do I want to be like the vet mentor?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
right?
Am I too old for this? Like, do I want to go get a ring somewhere? You know what I mean. So it depends on who I am and where I am in my career. I guess would determine how I feel about it, how I handle it.
Yeah. If you're the coach, how do you handle that at halftime? Being down so many points at half, 47 points or whatever it was. How do you handle that? How would you handle it?
That's tough because you don't want to throw the white flag, right? You don't want to be the coach and throw the white flag. You know what I mean? So I don't even know. That's tough.
It's
You know
so
what I mean? Like at what point do you concede?
right.
You know what I mean?
So hard because you know you're not coming back from 47 points. You know, I mean, you're down 47 points. Sometimes you don't score 47 points in a half. Right. So you know you're not coming back because the other team is still going to score some points. You know what I mean? I mean, you've got to out. Listen, most games aren't blowouts, right? And when you do have a blowout, 30 points, you get the occasional 40-point blowout. So you've got to outscore this team by 47 points in the next half, right?
I guess one thing you could do though, just like what I said, if I was a younger guy, maybe at this point you concede, but you want to give lessons, right? So now halftime, hey, don't worry about the score. You know what I mean? Maybe you brutally honest. We can't come back, but we're gonna look at this as 0-0. Let's win the third. You know what I mean? Let's win the third quarter.
Yeah.
Let's win the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? So put little hurdles or things that you want to accomplish in 6 minutes, in 12 minutes. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the best thing you could do.
That's the best thing you can do. And I think if I was a coach, I wouldn't even mention we're not going to win it. I would just say, listen, don't even pay attention to the score. Let's just go out there and play hard, play good basketball, and like you said, let's win the third quarter. Or let's outscore them by 10 points the first 6 minutes, outscore them by another 10 points the next 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just put some goals out there to try to achieve. You know what I mean? And don't even focus on the score. Just put goals out there. The crazy thing is, if you had another game, you can focus on goals for that next game.
Yep.
Right. If it was the regular season, you could say, okay, we got to learn from this. You might say in a regular season, we're not going to win this game. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus on this play that we haven't been getting right. And this play we haven't been getting right. You know what I'm saying? We'll focus those type of things.
And now think about it.
Who's coming back next season, right? It's the last game.
As a player, that's got to be tough too, because it's the last game of the season. So mentally, you might just check out. You might just start thinking about your vacation. Right. You might start thinking, you know what I mean? You might not even be mental, like to hold the mentality to stay focused in a meaningless, you know what I mean? Like a winless game, a game you can't win.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough. I didn't even think about that. Like
and
end of your year.
Yeah. And maybe the coach gets more respect with the players if he's like, yo, this one's done. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out here. Let's finish the game like gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Be good sports. We didn't have this one. It was done. And we'll do our exit interviews and we'll come back from here. But, maybe the lesson is to, take your loss like a man. Maybe that's the lesson. And we're gonna get better next year. You know what I mean?
I'm laughing because you might start reflecting on the whole season during the game. So, hey, you had a hell of a year, man. You know what I mean? This guy.
I'm pretty sure they did. Sitting on the bench like, yo, you know what? You had a hell of a year. Remember that game you did such and such and such? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, Buddy Hill, go get out there, man. Go get some minutes.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. How did you feel about the fans not giving him a round of applause?
I mean, a lot of them left. I think it was more Nick.
Probably
by the end of the game, it was definitely the Knicks fans still there cheering on the Knicks. You know what I mean? The Atlanta fans was gone. They
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, if I was there, if I was in Atlanta, if that was the Knicks, you know, I think I still would have tried to give them, you know, some kind of round of applause because it's not easy to make it through a season. And if you were expected to, you weren't expect, you know, they went through changes, not expected to be in the playoffs or be a playing team or something. You know, they ended up having the season that they had. It looks like they have some promise. You know, they probably deserve a round of applause. Now, if that were the Knicks who went out in the first round, you know, they probably don't deserve a round of applause. I mean,
Oh, you mean this current team?
This current team is what I'm saying.
But look at the we here year. You know what I mean? Like and how it ended, and how the fans were receptive to the team. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
Right.
and there was no expectation like that on that team. The team came out of nowhere and made a playoff berth,
Mhm.
and you know what I mean. A lot of us didn't champion the year. A lot
Yeah.
of us was nitpicking on players
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their
I mean,
performance.
it was. You know, I know we championed the year because we came from a year where we weren't even close to making the playoffs, and then we made the playoffs, right? So we were like, hey, you know, this is a step forward. Let's see, can we
Step
build on
forward.
it? You know, yeah. Let's get down to it, ladies and gentlemen. First, Killer Cal 24 said, y'all might not understand it, but I think Quinn is saving his young guys. This is embarrassing, talking about the game. Let the vets who won't be here next year deal with this crap. Why? I mean, I think sometimes fans don't understand that, you know, this is a business, and you've also got to put yourself in a position to get free agents, right? So why would you embarrass your vets when you might need to sign some other vets to be part of your team if you're not going to keep these guys, some other vets to be part of your team? And why not let your young guys get their ass whooped while they're out there on the floor? That's what young guys, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how you learn. Okay. You know, we got our ass whooped tonight. Play through it. You know, you put crumbs in your bed, now sleep on them. I mean, let them guys play through it and figure out, you know, feel it. That's how they get better, by feeling that loss. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get better. You know, that's how they get better. So I don't understand that comment there. You know, let the vets deal with this and won't be here next year. I don't get it.
And who knows? A young guy may come in and have a you know what I mean? It ain't gonna change the game, but he might have a nice run. You know what I mean? Get some experience and some confidence going into next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Chase the Flip said, I would clean house if I was the owner because this is disgusting. I mean, I think you gotta put things in perspective. You know, you gotta look at when you get eliminated. This is when you look at the season as a whole. This is the reason why people always tell you don't make decisions when you're emotional, right? When something happens, you don't make decisions. You wait for a little while. Let yourself get under control, calm down, relax, and then make a decision about what's next. You know what I mean? Because when you make an emotional decision, most of the time those are bad decisions.
I was just watching a podcast. I don't remember whose it was and who was saying it, but the story was they was referencing Ray Allen and how he never did post-game interviews.
Uh-huh.
And that was the reason why he never wanted to go out on a podium and express emotions right after the game.
Right.
And it was a reporter that was saying this, but I think it was Hoop Collective that was saying it. But basically, he would always make himself available extended time the next day. You know what I mean? So he'll sit down for 20 minutes and talk to everybody the next day. But after he calmed down, after he cleared his mind, after he, gathered himself, obviously everybody can't do that because the league obligates you to, you know what I mean, make yourself available. But
Mhm.
he you know what I mean, if he was able to not do it, he wouldn't do it for that reason.
Right. 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 King King Alabi said Quinn lost the series the first day Kispert played. I mean, I think I think he played Kispert out of desperation, needing to find some depth. All right,
Let's see if something works.
let's see if he gets hot. Sonny Viper said Quinn has to go. I don't blame any of the players for this. This is purely a coaching catastrophe. I really think it has to deal more with human emotion. You know what I'm saying? You reach a point where you know you're not winning, you know it's over, and you just let it go. You know what I'm saying? And could the Hawks have? And that's that's the hallmark. That's a young team. That's what. And then CJ didn't have anything going, so it's not like he could. They could say, okay, well, CJ's got it going. He's going to keep us in the game. No, And so it was. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put a blowout to me on coaching. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time you can play hard and stay within 10 to 15 points if you're just playing hard. You know what I mean? Now you can say, well, the coach has to motivate the players and all of that kind of stuff. But at some point the players got to motivate themselves. You know what I mean? It can't just be that the coach got to motivate the player. As a matter of fact, I don't know if a coach can really motivate a player. You can motivate them for the moment, but you got to have some form of internal motivation.
And I mean, the only the only thing Quinn Snyder could have did was call some timeouts. Like other than that, honestly, this was all about the Knicks and nothing to do with Atlanta. To be honest, like the Knicks reached a level last night that we've never seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you put yourself in that moment. It don't got to be this game or a playoff game, just any game. You know what I mean? When teams go on a run, and now every shot you miss becomes a little bit more demoralizing. Every turnover, every shot they make, you know what I mean? Like, so that stuff adds on and builds on. You put that in the playoffs, you times that by 10 times 20. You know what I mean? Like, it's how it is in the regular game when things like this happen. I could only imagine in the playoffs, in a closeout, you know what I mean? Like all the emotions. This don't have to do with the players or the coach or none of that. The Knicks just was on another level.
That's true. That's very true. The Knicks were on a whole nother level last night. I mean, something you haven't seen. We Two Play said Dyson can definitely go. Amazing on defense. Literally was an obstacle the whole series. Maybe get a first rounder and then some. He's not it. Jalen, I don't know, very questionable. CJ gave it his all. Alexander Walker was a big no. Okay, no, it was a big no. Quinn, don't know. He definitely wasn't ready these past two games for sure. You know, the hard thing about saying that a coach isn't ready or didn't do this or didn't do that is, you've really got to ask yourself, did he have the players?
Donovan Mitchell. Did he have a Donovan Mitchell on that squad?
Exactly, right? Did he have the personnel? He might have had all these ideas in his brain, but like, well, we can't do this because of this. We can't do that because of this. We can't do that because of this. We don't have this. We don't have this kind of guy or that kind of guy. The Hawks won 2 games because of CJ McCollum. Because CJ McCollum was playing out of this world. And they barely won those 2 games, right? Because CJ McCollum was playing out of this world for a couple of games. He was Michael Jordan for a couple of games. If he had a guy that was consistently like that, it might have looked very different. So I don't know if you can really say that about Quinn. You know what I mean? Dyson Daniels, I don't know. See, I mean, he's a talented kid. He can play some defense.
He was
But
top 3 in defensive player in the year last year.
Mm-hmm. He's got some growth to do. The entire team does. Jalen's got some growth to do. I mean, I understand the pain, though, obviously. I understand the pain. Green Lamore said, got to do a full-blown rebuild. This team ain't it. We're not close to one piece away. We're not even close to being one piece away, is what they're saying. Right? But then R. Gray, 647, said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Hawks should push hard for Giannis. Could you see Giannis in Atlanta? Yeah, me either.
Only because I think he wants a bigger market.
Okay.
It's not like I can't see him play there or fit there or whatever. Like he'll fit anywhere. You know what I mean? But I think the goals that he has aren't in line with where they are yet.
Yeah. Let me see. Get to the super chat. Silk said, hey, Sim, we're watching the Hawks podcast. Heard GM and Quinn yelling at each other after the game. Quinn might be gone. Silk Sutton, thank you for the super chat, bro. It could be. It could be. I don't know.
I was just talking about it. Like,
the milkman said Dyson is better than Brunson. Huh?
I think that milk is sour.
Bro,
expired.
Sour milk. 1% milk. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't see that they would have a chance for Giannis. Not even in the running, in my opinion. Couldn't see that happening. We do got some post-game interviews here. I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to listen to Quinn Snyder? You want to listen to Mike Brown? You want to listen to Jalen? You want to listen to Cat? Who do you want to listen to?
Let's start with Quinn since we on the Hawks side of things, and then we could transition.
Let's see what Quinn has to say. I'm telling you, I would hate to have to get up there and do an interview after getting beat like that. My goodness. It would be terrible. Quinn Snyder, ladies and gentlemen.
Obviously, you hate to lose anything and to lose the way we did. I think particularly given the enthusiasm and the support that we've had from the people in this building. Disappointed on a lot of levels, but that's a big source of disappointment right now, I think, for our entire group. We worked, and I think we did, you say everything. We'll have to look back and get deeper into kind of what happened. But I do think our guys were focused and prepared, and we had life and energy at the beginning of the game, and then some things happened on the court, obviously,
Short
to turn the
span,
game very quickly.
the game.
Feel like the Knicks' experience sort of kind of overshadowed or overpowered some of these young guys for getting some major playoff minutes?
Yeah, well, first, give credit to the Knicks. That's obvious. Whether it's experience or what you attribute it to, I thought, their physicality, they made it hard for us. And we obviously didn't respond in a way that generated the results that we wanted. But I think even as the series progressed, you can see, what a really good team they are and why they're a contender. And we didn't have an answer for that tonight.
Coach, being down by 47 at the half, what was your message to the guys when you were in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for any of us to foresee that, that halftime score. I think really the challenge at that point is just to continue to compete and to stay together, to stay connected, whether it's any opportunity you have, because we're all in this. We've all got to process this and own it, and it's tough. But I thought our guys continued to compete in spite of that score or how we played. I think we did that. It didn't. Again, there are certain things that don't translate to the scoreboard, and that we can look back on. The whole situation. Obviously, there's many things that we'll look at. But I didn't think our team stopped competing in the second half. They scored like bang, bang, bang in the second half as well. But I did believe that we continued to stick together. We didn't splinter and quit on the game. That's important in my mind, because that's, I think, who this team has been. That's why we've had an opportunity to play this game, is because we have approached it that way.
You mentioned some of the things that happened on the court. What was your perspective, or what did you see with the incident where Dyson was obviously ejected?
I couldn't see the details of the situation and who did what to whom. I know that both teams were competing, and they were having their way with us on many levels, as evidenced by the scoreboard. But I know Dyson's a competitor, and whatever occurred, I think that's obviously his getting ejected impacts, but there was a lot of other things going on in the game. But we'll look back. A lot of things tonight you're going to need to look back and truly watch, and that would be one of them. I don't have a great answer for you right now.
Cutie, you're right. And I know the emotions are raw now, but how do you make sure that 4 quarters tonight doesn't damper what was one of the most successful seasons in recent memory for this franchise?
Yeah, it's hard, because this is in the front of your mind right now. This is what you're living with, and as we all go away and come back together in whatever capacity we do to kind of find closure. Adversity hits us all, and in whatever form or shape it comes in, professionally, personally, and again, it may sound trite, but you do find out more about yourself when things are really hard. And tonight was really hard. But we have a group of men in there that they're quality people and that compete and did some things collectively that, as you said, were unique. It doesn't feel like that right now, but I hope that, as we move from this and the sting of this game begins to dampen somewhat, that there are things that, having been here and been in the situation, independent of the result, that we can think about what we did before and the foundation that these guys began to build, and to continue to do that.
Yeah, Coach, the nature of this business is even after a loss, you can get back in the gym tomorrow, you can look at film and you can, go to work and try to correct it, but you don't have that opportunity now. So how do you sort of process, just the fact the season comes to such an abrupt end and, in obviously a tough way here at home?
This will be the last.
Yeah, well, I mentioned, kind of the disappointment, I think, in a very kind of visceral way that, the game went, the result of the game tonight, particularly given, everybody felt the enthusiasm of the fan base, the city, like that was a special, development that occurred in response to how these guys played. But as far as processing anything like this, it's not something that I'm going to do right here tonight. It's going to have to soak in, and everybody's going to do that individually, and then we'll have an opportunity at some point where that becomes something that you do collectively.
All right, we can stop it there. Anything in there? Any thoughts about? I mean, obviously, the game is what it is. They took a bad loss, a terrible loss, an historic loss. They're going to be depressed. So you're not going to get much from a press conference besides depression. You know what I mean? But anything in there want to comment about?
It just makes me wonder if it's like, for me, I feel like I would just have to throw this game away. You know what I mean? I would have to go to Magic City, get my mind off this, and act like it never happened. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't think I could linger in this, especially with the season being over, where you don't, like you said, you don't got that next game, you don't got that next practice, that next film session,
right?
So I guess it might be easier to kind of let it go and just, you know what I mean? Maybe not even think about it until you get back on a basketball court, whether it's summertime practicing and all that. But yeah, season's over. I'm trying to let it go immediately.
Yeah. It's hard to, though, because you're gonna be all summer long. You're gonna be like, damn, if I did this, if this happened, if that happened,
I mean, when you get beat by 51, I don't know if you could come up with many things to say, oh, I could have did. That's the other part. Like, you not even coming up with nothing to be like, oh, if I would have did this, if I would have did that.
Yeah.
Or you would have lost by 30.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's true. When you lose like that, yeah. Let's hear a little bit from Mike Brown. I know a lot of us probably already heard the press conference, but some of us may not have. So let's listen to Mike Brown, and then we'll go from there. What we want to do. It's Mike Brown, folks.
And it made us, have to try to keep figuring out how we can help our guys be better. So appreciate that. Obviously, at the end of the day, for us, it was two things. We had to keep them off the glass, and we had to keep them out of transition. And, our guys did a good job of that tonight. 8 fast break points, 11 offensive rebounds, especially when there were a lot of missed opportunities. 14 second chance points. That's a good night in the two key areas that we had been talking about the whole series. Had a lot of great performances. OG was phenomenal. You know, he played 27 minutes, had 29 points on 14 field goal attempts, and he rebounded his behind off. Josh, again, the defensive versatility that he brings to the table for us was second to none. Cat, it's his second triple-double in the series. I mean, phenomenal. You know, Mikhail, 10 for 12 from the field. But just as importantly, 5 rebounds. Phenomenal. You know, and then Jalen, he's just doing what he does. He attracts so much attention that whether he's making shots, missing shots, he obviously had 8 assists and 0 turnovers, but he just makes the game easier for his teammates. And, you know, his ability to set screens is second to none. So 33 assists on 50 field goals. Just a really, really good night offensively. But like I said, we did the things that we were supposed to do, and our players were really, really good with their focus and attention to detail. And like I said, I give my entire staff, Chris Gent, Brendan O'Connor, Rick Brunson, Darren Ermond, Ricky Foy, TJ Saint, Mo Cheeks, Mark Bryant, Chuck Allen. I know I'm forgetting Jordan Brink, Joe. I don't know how to say Joe's last name. Joe, I'm sorry. I apologize. I mean, Peter Patton. I mean, I can go on and on. Billy Lang, on and on and on about the guys that carried me, and I'm the one sitting up here. But those guys were phenomenal, getting us prepared for the series, and they were phenomenal throughout the course of the series. So I take my hat off not only to our players, but to my entire coaching staff, including the video room and the performance group.
Mike, you mentioned the second triple-double for Cat. I'm just wondering that you guys obviously have made a more concerted effort to run offense through him. Is this kind of what you envisioned for the offense all year, or is this kind of specifically what the Hawks have made you do based on the way that they play?
No, I said it before. You know, we changed the way we played offensively and defensively about halfway through the season, and we changed again after Game 3. So, like I said, it's one of the many things I'm saying. I got to give Atlanta credit and Quinn Snyder. They forced us to put our thinking caps on, and they forced us to play different, find ways to make the game easier for our players while putting them in their strengths, and still having, you know, and still not, while trying not to hinder them, you know. So we changed what we've done offensively, but again, it was because we were pushed to do it, and we feel pretty good about what we fell into.
Mike, this is, I think the second, maybe the third time you've kind of mentioned that the Hawks kind of made you guys better, and you kind of hinted at what you mean by it now. I was wondering if you could go explain a little bit more about what you mean. Like, how did they actually make you guys a better team during this series?
You know, basically the biggest thing is we had to change our offense. Again, not as drastic as we probably did halfway through the year, but we had to change it because every possession was a grind those first 3 games, especially down the stretch. And so we had to find more ways to put our guys in their strengths while getting to it quickly, while still having options. I'm not a guy that likes to call every play. I want our guys to be able to read where the advantage is quickly throughout the course of the action. And Atlanta forced us to find a way to do that, and we feel pretty good about where we're at right now. But it happened holistically after Game 3.
Mike, you mentioned the attention to detail, the focus those weren't always this team's greatest traits at times during the regular season. And I know you've coached a lot of games bigger than this, but in terms of just a proud victory, where does this like rank for you? Like the guys just being willing to not take the foot off the gas.
I'm extremely proud of the group, and that's why I mentioned. I mean, I would have mentioned everybody on the team and roster, but you guys know those guys. So, and I would have mentioned the rest of all the performance guys and the rest of the video room and all that. But I don't have a great memory, so I don't know all their names. But I'm extremely proud of the group. And like I said, I'm sitting up here, but my staff was unfreaking believable, and we still have a long way to go. Just as much as the players were. It's a players' league. They brought it, but I got to give my staff a ton of credit, way more than me, and that's why I said that, because it takes a village to do that. Even Derek was great.
Good job, Derek.
We haven't seen the Timberlands. Fair enough.
Mike, how good is it for Mikal, confidence-wise, to have a game like this, the offensive game like this, moving forward?
No, it was great. He just did what he's capable of doing. Now, is he going to go 10 for 12 every night? No, but he was aggressive. He took great shots, but I wouldn't let it go unnoticed that his defense was phenomenal. Not only was his defense phenomenal, but rebounding. A guy like Mikal should average 5 to 7 rebounds a game at his size if he's playing 30-plus minutes, and he had 5. So it's a big night on both ends of the floor by Mikal.
Mike, I know you said before the game, closeout games are the hardest.
Yeah.
Didn't look that way, but when you see that first quarter, you guys had, I think, 7 steals, 3 blocks, and just a 35-6 run or something. When you see that, are you kind of looking like, a bit at what your team could be?
Again, it's hard to replicate, duplicate, however you want to say it, but our guys, their connectedness right now is off the charts. And like I said, when you lock in to the detail and you're connected like that with a group that's as talented and versatile as that group, you have a chance to do that.
Mike, with the Mitch incident, I guess what do you make of that? Do you kind of want him to be above that, or what do you make of that?
That's hard. I mean, I haven't seen obviously the film, but it's tough because when you're up that big, stuff happens, and it's hard if somebody feels like something that shouldn't happen to them happened. It's hard to keep your composure in that moment. But at the end of the day, that's what we talked about, and our guys did a good job of that the rest of the game.
I took a look back at that, and it really was, when I look back at it again, it really did seem like Mitch was only put his arms around Dyson because Okongwu hit him from behind. You know what I mean? Obviously, Mitch was arguing, but
that it was the going back, the escalating that got him ejected.
Of course,
you know what I mean? Because I think he might not have even got a regular attack had he not escalated.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? If they went back and looked, maybe it's just Daniels getting the tech, because he like you said, he approached them, or they approached each other, but like you said, Congo kind of gave Mitch a little nudge to kind of make them make that initial contact. Now, what I want to know, to be honest, is what did Dyson say that made Mitch go out and escalate?
Right.
Because he wasn't escalating initially. And I think Dyson Daniels be saying stuff, because I gotta find the clip. But there was a play in one of the previous games where Mikal got either called for a foul or got fouled, and he was on the floor, and it looked like he was in some pain, but he was screaming, F you, F you, F you to Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, I remember that.
I kept thinking, like, what did Daniels say or do to him? Because
Yeah.
I'd never seen Bridges like that before.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. He was definitely F you. I mean, yeah. Yo.
So, Dyson, he got like a Dylan Brooks kind of impact on getting under people's skin in one way or another, or at least the Knicks he did.
Right. And both Daniels and Mitch got fined.
Oh, they both got fined too?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Let me see how much it was. I just seen it with not too long ago with Ian Begley that they both got fined.
But I do like the now granted in that situation it was worth the risk, you know what I mean? Like, thank God it wasn't a suspension, because then I would have a different tune. But I like Mitch standing up and not backing down and not getting punked and all that, because that's one of the things we've been crying and asking for all year long. You know what I mean? Right. So now we got, Mitch, you know what I mean? We got Alvarado, Hart got some toughness to him as well. You know what I mean? As long as we ain't getting the OG push, we good. You know what I mean? OG, stay out of altercations. I'm not.
Yeah.
You tough under the rim, but you know what I mean?
Right. And there you go. Silk had it up too. But per Ian Begley, no suspension for Mitch per the NBA. Robinson and Dyson Daniels both fined for the altercation. Robinson, $50K, and Daniels, $25K.
Brunson, pay that fine.
You know what I mean? Daniels started it.
He sure did, but they may have went back further into the film and seen some things. I was watching Dyson's was it end of season interview or whatever, and they asked him about it, and he said basically Mitch does something at the free throw line where he comes up high with his elbows, and he must have got Dyson a couple of times prior.
Yeah, because even on that play he came up high. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? But Mitch came up high after Dyson's elbow.
Yeah.
In that particular play. You know what I mean? Like the Dyson elbow came before Mitch's arm went up high. Because when Mitch's arm went up high, Dyson was already prepared for that. That's why he grabbed it and kind of, you know what I mean, tried to twist it or whatever.
You know,
so to Dyson's credit, he's saying he was dealing with that all game or all series, maybe.
All game, all series, right? Likely all series, he was dealing with that. Now here's my thing though. Here's my thing. He's saying that Mitch's arm is coming up high, right?
He's tall.
Mitch is tall, right? I mean, Mitch is tall. Dyson is shorter.
Yep.
Dyson is what, 6'7", 6'8". Mitch is 7'1". You know, Mitch is just bringing his arms to where he naturally does. I would assume.
Or even if it is strategic, because I think that's something that he learned and picked up from DeAndre Jordan. When you got a smaller, aggressive guy, you know what I mean, on your side at the free throw line, use your size. They like it's probably a strategic technique that he was taught, because DeAndre is big on that too.
Right.
Use their aggressive. If they're gonna run in, they're gonna run right into that elbow.
Right. And that definitely could be, a strategic obviously he would say, "Hey, I'm just bringing my arms up to box out or whatever it is." You know what I mean?
And if it hasn't been called one time throughout the course of the series, he ain't doing nothing illegal.
Exactly. And of course, you have to assume it was, frustration by Dyson Daniels too. You know what I mean? He's getting his butt kicked. He's been getting the elbow all season, all series. So he's like, you know what?
And there was a few questionable hard fouls right before that play. You know what I mean? Where it looked like they knew they can't win and they was trying to hurt us.
And they definitely might have been. I mean, at a certain point, sometimes you don't know what to do. At a certain point, you're like, I don't know what else to do but be aggressive, try to fight this man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've felt like that before. Trust me.
Mhm.
All I felt like I could do was fight.
Matter of fact, I was watching. I ended up putting on one of the Hawks podcasts, and I was actually watching him do the watch along, and it came up. It came up to that part, and that's exactly what he said. Yo, you can't beat him. You might as well fight him. You know what I mean? Like, you might as well fight him. Like, and he references. He was like, "Yo, this felt like, at the park when you know what I mean, you getting your butt whipped, or somebody, or you whipping somebody's butt, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean, as in a fight, because
fight."
I'm like, we all been there.
We all been there. We all been there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't know what else to do, but that's how the anger comes out. I'm pretty sure that's where he was too, in his mind, like, this is some bull, and maybe he just wanted to get out the game. I ain't staying here for the rest of it.
It's funny that the dude said that too. He said same thing. So I ain't dealing with this.
Well, send me home. I'll sit back in the lot.
Out of here.
You got food back there. You know what I'm saying? I think Chuck said that last night too. He said that Dyson was the only smart one.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. Well, around the league, man, it's
Game 7.
Game 7's all over the place, right? We just saw Toronto. We saw RJ hit that crazy shot. Hopefully I'm not frozen anymore, but we just saw RJ hit that crazy shot, similar to what Tyrese Halliburton did with us.
Or Kawhi shot.
Kawhi did that to us?
No, the Kawhi the championship, in Toronto.
Yeah.
Against Philly. Even though that one bounced like 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah. So Game 7 is going back to Cleveland. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm rooting for Toronto.
Me
for
too.
the simple fact, I want to see what it does to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do they, you know what I mean? Like, do they blow it up now? Do they, you know what I mean? You just got Harden. That was supposed to be the take me over the top piece. You know what I mean? Like, and you get bumped in the first by Toronto. I would love that. And obviously, you know what I mean? Once a Knick, always a Knick. I'm always rooting for the ex-Knicks unless they playing us. So
Yeah, me too. I'm always rooting for the ex-Knicks to go out there and get a win. Rooting for Toronto, Detroit, and Orlando. Detroit was down by 24 points, 22 at half. They went on a big run in the second half. Orlando missed 23 straight field goal attempts. 23 straight field goal attempts. That's that's crazy. And Detroit came back and won tonight. Game 7 is in Detroit.
That's the kind of that could be something that they don't recover from.
Orlando?
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be. It could be.
I mean, it could have the opposite effect too. Like what's the chances of something like that happening again? And they just let it go. But once you miss 3, 4, 5 in a row again, now it starts creeping in your head. The next game, you know what I mean?
Right. And you mentioned something before about the Pistons, having to get over a hump to win a game at home, right? This team has to get over a hump to win a first round series. If they win, there's going to be a lot of people that say, I told you, they're not that good. Look, they struggle with Orlando. But some people will say they got over the hump. And it was, that was part of the battle too, right? Getting over the hump. And then to be down 3-1 and come back and get over that hump. You know what I'm saying? Those are some good accomplishments for a team, for a young team like that. You know what I mean? To be down 3-1, have to get over, winning a playoff game at home, then winning a first round series, and you were down 3-1 and it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? That shows a lot of grit and grind. You know what I mean? A lot of grit and grind. Limitations that they might have. They have limitations, as people have pointed out. But we've seen what like Kev and Sean pointed out about their limitations, and seen it in the playoffs. But if they come back from down 3-1, that's pretty gritty and that's pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty tough.
And you see what the adversity did for them from last year to this year. Now, if they could go through the adversity and prevail, you know what I mean? That could do even more for their confidence. You know what I mean? You go from believing in yourself and having the regular season you had to getting down and then fighting back to advance and put yourself back to where you thought you was supposed to be. You know what I mean? That's gonna boost their confidence.
Yeah, for sure. That will definitely boost their confidence. And now you're looking at a second round matchup. If the Pistons were to win, well, we'll start with the Pistons and then we'll go with Orlando since we're talking about the Pistons. The Pistons versus Cleveland or
Toronto.
What's that look like for you?
Who would be a better matchup? All right, here's what I say. If I got to choose the matchup, I'd rather see Detroit and Cleveland. But on the flip side, I'd rather see Toronto and Orlando. Like if I had, you know what I mean? Like that's the matchups I would rather see if I could. Either way, you know what I mean? But I don't want to see like Toronto and Detroit. I don't even. It just don't even sound right. Like Toronto and Detroit.
Yeah.
Toronto and Orlando. That sound like, you know what I mean. That sound like a good matchup. It visit. You know what I mean. You do the lineup side by side. It looked like a good matchup, and vice versa. Pistons, Cavs. Like when you say styles make fights, I like those two styles like matching up as opposed to like Toronto and Detroit. I was like, that don't look sexy. That don't look. Yeah.
And if Cleveland wins, well, if Orlando wins, I mean, I guess you like you just said you'd rather see Orlando and Toronto. I think Orlando, if they can stay healthy, they'd give Toronto or Cleveland a run for their money.
Yeah, Orlando, Cleveland is not that bad. The main one I don't want to see is Detroit and the Raptors. I just don't like the way it don't
Yeah.
even look like it'll be entertaining to watch. You know what I mean? Like visibly pleasing on the eyes.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Then now tomorrow's game 7, Boston versus Philadelphia. How do you see that going?
Oh, how I see it going. Honestly, I think Philly's gonna win.
I kind of feel like they're gonna win too.
I think Philly's gonna win. I think I don't think they have an answer for Embiid. And I don't think Embiid is 100%, but we've seen Embiid against us not 100% and still dominate, right? I don't think if Embiid is in the paint, in the post, they don't have an answer. And then obviously, they got the guards, they got Paul George, but Embiid in the paint, they do not have an answer for.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Celtics are still who they've been. They live and die by the 3.
They do.
They don't care. They're not changing anything. They're not finding another way to win. It's 40% from 3, we win. Under 40% from 3, we lose. And so I don't even see. I hate to say it because I do think they're the tougher matchup, 76ers, to be honest. I think we were built to go against Boston anyway. You know what I mean? And it's just not saying we can't beat or Boston can't beat us or anything like that. But, yeah. But I don't mind a tougher matchup either. You know what I mean? Like, I like the tougher matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know if the consensus will say, "Oh, Philly's the tougher matchup." I don't think the world would view it like that. But me personally, I think Philly's the tougher matchup for us.
Yeah. Let's say this. When the Knicks played Philly without Embiid, we struggled with Maxey. We struggled with VJ Edgecombe, right? Those 2 guards gave the Knicks fits. Then now, of course, you got to deal with Paul George and Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? I still think that we are the better basketball team. You know what I'm saying? And it'd just be it'd be very tough. You know what I'm saying? Because Embiid's probably a little bit fresher than you would think because, he's always missing games and he was just out for a couple of weeks. He's not going to rust off, but he's probably a little bit fresher. Paul George missed a bunch of time, right? And so he's probably a little bit fresh. And they beat Boston. They're going to be believing. You know what I mean? We'll have home court advantage, right? If Boston and Detroit both go out, the Knicks will have home court advantage in the East.
Yeah, the rest of the way.
The Knicks will have home court advantage, which, that's beautiful, right? Because we, play well at home. But now you're looking at a matchup: Joel versus Karl Anthony Towns, right? That would be a very good, very fun matchup. I think Cat is the younger, healthier player who is. I'm going to say coming into his own right now during these playoffs, right? That doesn't have to do with scoring. I'm really just thinking when I'm saying coming into his own, I'm thinking mentally as far as because he's at a point in his career where he's proved that he can score the basketball and he can be an all NBA guy and make the all-star team, right? It's about winning a championship, and he wants to win one in New York. And so he's doing everything and anything. And I think we found something that no one's ever really focused on with him before. Even though coaches have known that he could pass, they haven't focused on it like this. Maybe in Minnesota with Tibbs a little bit, when they had like a number 5 offense for a year. They did some of it, but for the most part, nothing was consistent as far as him doing this. And, it feels like this is going to be something consistent with Mike Brown.
Do you think that's the best strategy against Philadelphia? Or do you think we actually need him to be more of a offensive scoring threat?
I think it still can be a strategy against Philadelphia. Now, here's the issue. Joel Embiid is the same height, right? So he's not looking over top of Joel Embiid to make that pass, right? So Joel Embiid can get his hands in his vision and things. But also, I don't think Joel Embiid can stop him from penetrating from the top.
And that's why I think it has to be the offensive. I agree with you 100%. That's why I think the focus has to be keep Joel on his toes. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like you said, the pass might not be as visible in these situations. Number one, I think you got to utilize the 3 and shoot that ball to keep him honest. Because one of the big things that Joel's been doing against the Celtics that has been effective is kind of either playing and drop or just protecting the rim and not, you know what I mean, not going out on the perimeter. And everybody's trying to drive them into Joel. Against Cat, he can't do that. He has to, you got to make him come out the paint. And now Cat can utilize his size, utilize his quickness. I think Joel's a step slow. You know what I mean? And Cat can take advantage there. I think that's the new advantage in that particular matchup. You gotta make Joel move as much as possible. Keep him active on the defensive end as much as possible, because to me that wears him out. If you let him sit back and just kind of protect the paint, that's what he wants to do.
Right. I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you. I think still getting Cat the ball in that same spot. If you put Cat in the post, I think it's going to be a little tougher for him to score, right? Because Joel Embiid is, he's big, he's strong, But I think putting him up at the top of that key, he'll take Joel Embiid off the dribble every time, and hopefully put Joel Embiid in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, I do think this matchup will be an advantage to Cat.
And God knows Joel's more than capable of doing it right back.
That's
with
true.
the foul trouble with Cat and his tendencies. So,
right.
You know what I mean? At best case scenario, or worse, however you want to look at it, maybe they wash each other out. You know what I mean? Maybe they get each other in foul trouble. Maybe they get each other out the game. But I also think, like you said, we had them guards gave us fits.
Yeah,
it might be a benefit to have Joel on the floor just to limit their usage.
That's true. That's true. Right, just to limit their usage. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, this would be a battle of two teams who are very similar. Right? Very, very similar in how they're made. You know what I mean? You both got a big guy coming off the bench that can rebound the basketball and those things. It would definitely be a battle of two teams that are very similar. Shout out to Silk Sutton. He said, "Hey Sam, how bad do you think Tatum is feeling tight and is good?" Hold up. So slow down. I appreciate the super chat. I really do. Just, let me make sense of this. They say,
I got it. I got
how
it.
bad do you think Tatum
Feeling
is?
tightness in his good leg is. How
Okay.
bad do you think Tatum feeling tightness in his good leg is? I know what he said. How bad is it? Do you think? How bad do you think it is?
How bad is it? And it's his good leg because he suffered the Achilles in his other leg. So how bad is it? Who knows?
And I don't think he's asked. I don't think he's asking the severity of the actual injury, or maybe he is.
How bad is Joel
What?
Embiid? I mean,
Well, they say he's gonna play. So
yeah, it's
they
no
say
way.
he's gonna. They say he's gonna play. So it might not be that bad, but I ain't gonna lie. I was telling Sim yesterday, I wouldn't risk it. If I was the Celtics organization, I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah. I think he's gonna play. I think they're definitely gonna risk it and have him play.
Well, I'm gonna knock on wood for him because I don't like injuries. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I think they're gonna risk it. They're gonna have him play. Phillies looked dominant against him over the last couple of games, though, man.
They did, but Joel was in the paint, and they was living by the three.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the thing is, will they even change? Will they switch it up?
Boston?
Different. Boston. And try to do
No.
something. It won't.
No.
You know what I'm saying? This is philosophy.
And I do think Tatum coming back kind of brought them more into that live and die by the three thing. Because without Tatum, when he was gone, they still shot threes, but they ain't live and die by it. You know what I mean? They were playing, they was getting into the paint. They was collapsing. Like now it seems like they just chuck. And that's how they looked last year to me. Like they live and die. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna put up 53s and we're gonna try to shoot 40%.
Yeah. Jalen's dad said, "Who would you start out on Maxey?" And then he said, Josh Hart. How would you? What would your matchups be?
I'm putting Brunson on Oubre. I'm probably starting Cat on Embiid.
Brunson on Oubre. Yep. Brunson on Oubre. Cat on Embiid.
Paul George. I'm putting OG on him.
OG on Paul.
Mikal, you got VJ. Don't let that young boy. Don't let that young boy do that to you. You know what I mean? Like that's a rookie, man. Go out there and show your veteran points. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would put Josh Hart on Maxey to start the game.
Okay. No, that definitely makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, the team, you don't have the mismatches that you had against the Hawks or would have against the Celtics, maybe because of the, you have teams who have the same type of height. So, players can kind of match up.
The crazy thing is he might be too fast. I mean, he's just about too fast for anybody. So, Maxey. Yeah. So, especially anybody in that starting lineup.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I could definitely see Alvarado maybe getting some opportunities to guard him.
Mm-hmm.
He done killed Deuce. He done killed Brunson. He done killed, you know what I mean? Like good defenders. The only other thing is, shoot, you might have to see OG on him on sometimes. I don't want to. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Because I think OG is better suited for Paul George on Embiid at times. You know what I mean? Like other guys. But yeah, Maxey beat. He's the new Blur. You know what I mean? Like he's fast as hell.
Yeah.
And his confidence is through the roof.
Right.
I always said that he reminded me of Quickly. I mean,
they basically play the same game.
He's a lot faster and penetrates a little bit better, but he just reminds me of Quickly, and I always thought like, all right, who's gonna mature faster? Who's gonna reach their peak sooner?
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting, man.
Who you liking? Who you think? You say you think Philly's gonna win as well?
I just have a feeling Philly might win.
Do you have a preference on playing?
I don't know if I have a preference really. Either series is going to be a hard fought series. I don't know if I have a preference on which team I would rather play. You know,
like I said, I prefer Philly, but I'm also gonna go out on the record and say I think they're the tougher challenge for us.
I think you know, it's a Atlantic division. You know, either team is the Atlantic division rivals. You know, neither fan bases like each other for real. You know, it's gonna be it's gonna be a battle with either team. You know,
I will say this though,
battle.
If we're advancing, it probably means more to the world us beating Boston than it does us beating Philly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Probably. Anyway, folks, tomorrow night, man, we'll find out who we play tomorrow night. 7:30, Boston and Philly play tomorrow night. Looking at the lineups for tomorrow, the games that's going on tomorrow. Let's see what's tomorrow. The Lakers have eliminated the Rockets. Tomorrow, 7:30, 76ers and the Celtics, and that's it. Only game tomorrow. And then Sunday, you got the Magic and the Pistons and the Raptors and the Cavs, both game 7s.
I might if I get home in time, I might jump on while that Boston Sixers game is on. Kind of talk through it.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be pretty dope. All right, well, folks, I'm gonna get up out of here. I definitely appreciate your time tonight. It's 1:00 in the morning. Everybody's out here rocking with us. I wish that game came out earlier tomorrow, 7:30. Guess they want it in prime time still, but you know. Anyway,
it works for me. I should be getting off at 7:30, so I might, if I ain't exhausted, I got a 12-hour shift. But
yeah,
if I ain't exhausted, I'm gonna jump on.
Yeah. Jalen, you said any game watch potentials near MSG in the future. You know, we'll see if we get, you know, when we get later on into the playoffs. Right now, there's not for us. Obviously, the Knicks got their huge watch party, you know what I mean, out in front of the Garden. But folks, we appreciate your time. We're gonna get up out of here. Be peaceful, spread love, and we will catch you later. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.